Welcome to the January 22nd, 2020 Frankfort Village Board meeting. We call this meeting to order and we ask our village administrator, Rob Pisha, to take the roll, please.
Mayor Holland.
Here.
Trustee Borelli.
Here.
Trustee Clavio.
Here.
Trustee Farina.
Here.
Trustee Ogle.
Here.
Trustee Petro.
Here.
Village clerk is in the audience. Attorney Mahoney.
Here.
Attorney Lamore. Chief Barica. Assistant Administrator Cook.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on our agenda this evening is the appointment and swearing in of a new trustee. Trustee Trevarthen resigned from his position for health reasons in late November. Since then, the state law calls for the mayor, with the advice and consent of the trustees, to within 60 days appoint a new trustee to fulfill the remainder of Mr. Trevarthen's term, which would end in the spring of 2021. So we had applications available. We received applications from wonderful people. We interviewed 9 candidates, and I really must say that I think any one of those candidates very well would have been a great trustee for the people of Frankfort. They were well received, I think, by all of us, and the trustees and I did conduct those interviews. But Gene Severia, our current clerk, or he was until noon today, stood out that he has those qualifications. He was the clerk for the village of Frankfort. Before that, he was on the Plan Commission, and all of the recent committee meetings and village board meetings, he has attended those. He's well versed on what the village is doing, how things are running. And Gene is a 25-year resident of the village of Frankfort. He has a 25-year career in investment banking. He's an Air Force veteran, 6 years in the United States Air Force. And he has a finance degree from the University of Illinois, Chicago. His 3 children were raised here in Lincoln Way schools, and Gene is, of course, with us this evening. And so I would go to the trustees and ask for a motion with the advice and consent of the Board of Trustees, approve the appointment of Gene Severia to the office of trustee to serve out the remainder of the term created by the retirement and resignation of former trustee Dick Trevarthen until the next consolidated election in 2021.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Ogle and a second by trustee Farina. Any comments? Then we probably better have a roll call vote on that.
Trustee Petro.
Yes.
Trustee Borelli.
Yes.
Trustee Clavio.
Can I think about this?
Trustee Farina.
Yes.
Trustee Ogle.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Gene, meet me at the podium, and Jerry, come on forward too. So we got to get close to the microphone, or nobody will be able to hear. But thank you again, Gene, for already serving the community in the ways you have through the Plan Commission, through and volunteering in the community, and as our village clerk. I'm very confident, and so are the trustees, that you're going to make an excellent trustee. You care about our community, and part of that is helpful to have a spouse who cares about the community, is engaged in the community. It does make a difference, and it is a family affair when you get into these elected positions. So if you would, raise your right hand and say after me, I, and then state your name.
I, Gene Severia,
Having been appointed to the office of trustee
having been appointed to the office of trustee
in the village of Frankfort,
in the village of Frankfort,
in the counties of Will and Cook,
in the counties of Will and Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of trustee for the village of Frankfort.
the duties of trustee for the village of Frankfort.
Well, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And thank you. Thank you.
I guess I am.
Please join us. The next item on our agenda is what we call the unanimous consent agenda. All items on the unanimous consent agenda are considered routine in nature and will be voted on after a single motion. If one of the trustees wants to remove an item from the consent agenda, we'll just do that in case they want to discuss it in more detail. So I first ask, do any trustees want to remove any items from the consent agenda?
I would like to remove C3, the formal legal objection for 24405 South LaGrange Road.
Perfect. We'll just take that off the consent agenda. Any others? Then I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Ogle and a second by our new trustee, Severia. And we do want the people here in the audience, in the boardroom, and the people at home on TV and on the internet to know something about the items that we're passing, or not passing. So we'll go over each one of them just briefly. And the first item is the approval of the minutes from our regular meeting, January 6th. The second item is the approval of the bills, and we'll go to Trustee Borelli for a report on those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The bills tonight total $500,630.50. Pretty routine. Let me go through a couple items. One is our monthly health insurance bill, which is $140,487.34. That's the employee and employer match for employee health insurance. And then $64,731.16 to Robinson Engineering for various services they've been providing over the last month. Especially with regards to the St. Francis Road project, which is underway. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. And then we have several items from our Plan Commission, and we'll go to Trustee Clavio for a report on those items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are two items left on the Plan Commission report for this evening. The first one is CrossFit Rua Special Use Permit, which is located at 9527 Corsair Road. This is an ordinance that needs to be passed. The applicant proposes to relocate their existing business, CrossFit Rua, an indoor fitness training facility, from 9227 Gulfstream Road to 9527 Corsair Road, Unit G. That's within the Airport Industrial Park. Special use permits per ordinance expire and are not transferable to new properties, and as such, the applicant seeks the granting of a special use permit for indoor recreation and entertainment to accommodate the proposed operation at the new location. At the January 9th, 2020 public hearing, the Plan Commission forwarded a unanimous 5-0 recommendation to our board to approve this special use request. So before us tonight is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a special use permit for indoor recreation and entertainment to the property located at 9527 Corsair Road, Unit G, to permit the operation of CrossFit Rua in accordance with the reviewed plans and public testimony. The second item before us tonight is a variance of a front yard setback and first floor building materials at 117 Maple Street. And I might add that the applicant, Gander Builders, is with us here in the audience tonight. They're proposing to raise the existing home located at 117 Maple Street and construct a new 2,800 square foot single family home. In an effort to construct the home, that is generally consistent in both site design and architectural character with the surrounding neighbors. The applicant has requested approval of a front yard setback variance from 30 feet to 25 feet and a building materials variance to permit the use of non-masonry composite siding on the first floor of the home. Also, at the January 9, 2020 public hearing, the Plan Commission forwarded 2 unanimous 5-0 recommendations to the Village Board to approve the variances. So before us tonight is to accept the Plan Commission recommendations, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a front yard setback variance from 30 feet to 25 feet and a first floor building materials variance to permit the use of non-masonry composite siding to the property located at 117 Maple Street to permit the construction of a single-family residence in accordance with the reviewed plans and public testimony, and conditioned upon utilization of lap siding on all elevations of the proposed home as depicted in the provided perspective renderings. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. And then we have 5 items from our Operations Committee, and we'll go back to Trustee Borelli for a report on those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first item tonight is the Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant Clarifier Improvement Project. At our January 8th, 2020 meeting, the Operations Committee reviewed a request from Utility Director Mike Stone to perform improvements to the existing clarifiers located at the Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant. The village's regional wastewater treatment plant utilizes 3 circular clarifiers as part of the treatment process, and the drive assemblies for clarifier 1 and 2 require a rebuild of all internal components. The drive assembly for clarifier number 3 is currently in satisfactory condition and does not require rehabilitation at this time. Evoqua Water Technologies LLC has a factory circular drive rebuild program for customers with existing Siemens and Envirex. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board to enter into an agreement with Evoqua Water Technologies to rebuild the drive assemblies and furnish replacement squeegees for clarifiers 1 and 2 at the regional wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $41,581.88. Committee noted these improvements are proprietary in nature from this manufacturer and is not subject to separate bidding. The second item on the at the last meeting that we talked, last committee meeting, was we considered a request from staff to replace a 2005 Ford Explorer budgeted in the current fiscal year with a new 2024 Transit 150 cargo van from Curry Motors fleet of Frankfort via the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative in the amount of $25,790. The primary purpose of this vehicle is to facilitate utility locates, which requires the ability to transport locating machines, marking paint, flags, and other ancillary locating supplies. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board authorizing the purchase of the replacement vehicle. The next item is the Police Department Replacement Vehicle Resolution. The Operations Committee also considered a request from the Police Department to purchase a 2020 Ford Utility Police Interceptor all-wheel drive from Curry Motors of Frankfort via the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative for a total cost of $42,177.00 to replace a patrol vehicle which was involved in an accident. The vehicle was declared a total loss and insurance review is still ongoing. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board authorizing the purchase of the replacement vehicle. Next item was FCTV Channel 6 equipment purchase approval. The Operations Committee discussed the purchase of specialty PEG access equipment. The purpose of this specialty equipment is to provide the programming interface for Channel 6 and related signal processing that makes Channel 6 cable broadcast possible. FCTV 6 experienced an equipment failure on December 2nd and is currently utilizing loan equipment as a temporary solution to restore cable access. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board to approve the FCTV 6 expenditures. Committee noted this equipment is proprietary in nature from this manufacturer and is not subject to separate bidding. The last item, I believe, is the T3IP new construction grant, Frankfort Building LLC. The Operations Committee reviewed an application from Frankfort Building LLC for a new construction grant under the Target Industry and Industrial Incentive Program, also known as T3IP. The applicant constructed a new 15,000 square foot industrial building located at 22349 South Commerce Parkway, located within the I-1 Limited Industrial District. The committee noted the project met the requirements of the T3IP guidelines and was eligible for a new construction grant in the amount of $1 per square foot. It was the consensus of the committee to forward a recommendation to the village board authorizing approval of the qualified new construction grant under the T3IP in the amount of $15,000.00 to Frankfort Building LLC for the project. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. And those are all of the items on the consent agenda this evening. Now, before we vote on those items, is there anyone in the audience who wanted to talk to the village board or say something to the village board about any of these particular items? How about trustees? Trustee Borelli.
Just wanted to thank Steve Likas of Gander Builders. Another great addition to our downtown. You've done a wonderful job changing it in a way that fits in with the neighborhood. And this is the first test under the downtown residential guidelines, and this fits in perfect in my opinion. So thanks, Steve. Appreciate your hard work.
I would also like to recognize the staff and the Plan Commission and Gander Builders. To Adam's point, it's the first home that has gone through with the downtown residential guidelines, and those are reflective of the work that the residents put in for the comprehensive plan, and it shows the visual preference surveys. And I know you were a guinea pig, Steve, going through the first one, but I hope that it not only keeps the charm of the Old Town area, but it also hopes to streamline the process moving forward. Thank you.
Two very good comments, Steve. They're well deserved, so thank you. Anyone else? Anything else? Then we'll go to our village administrator, Rob Pisha, for the vote.
Trustee Savaria.
Yes.
Trustee Borelli.
Yes.
Trustee Clavio.
Yes.
Trustee Farina.
Yes.
Trustee Ogle.
Yes.
Trustee Petro.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That brings us to the next item on our agenda, which is called the Mayor's Report. The first item on the Mayor's Report has to do with applications to fill the village clerk vacancy. Oh, we have a motion. We probably better vote on that before we go.
The mile-and-a-half review.
The mile-and-a-half review. Perfect. It's a good thing that I get help now and then. We have another item of business, and it has to do with a mile-and-a-half review, and we'll go to Trustee Clavio and let him explain the issue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will say that Jessica stole my thunder about the Plan Commission and the comp plan, but this thing that's coming before us tonight is also, was slated in our comp plan, even though it's not part of Frankfort, it's within a mile and a half. It was on our plan as future development, and the Plan Commission utilized our current comp plan for the results that are here before us tonight, which is kind of neat. It's really a good, satisfactory thing. The reason that I pulled this off the agenda is more procedural than anything, is because since we are objecting to a specific request, the mayor has to vote on this, and you don't vote on the consent agenda, so I ask that that be pulled off. The second reason is because we received legal comments on the resolution that you all have before you. That's all redlined, and like true attorneys, way to go, George and Hannah, you just ripped this apart. I appreciate that, but that just got to us tonight, so the one in your package has been amended to be this one as well. So we're actually voting on a different one than was in your package at that point. The crux of what we're voting on is that at the January 9th, 2020 meeting, the Plan Commission reviewed the proposed map amendment from A1 agricultural zoning to I1 industrial zoning for the property located at 24405 South LaGrange Road. That's in Green Garden Township, not part of Frankfort, but as part of the 1.5 mile review process. The property is currently zoned agricultural with a special use for a landscape company. The Village Plan Commission discussed their 2-year effort to create a new comprehensive plan and identified this rezoning is inconsistent with the adopted plan, noting the extensive list of permitted uses allowed in Will County's I-1 district. The commissioners forwarded a unanimous recommendation 5-0 to the village board to adopt a resolution objecting to the proposed rezoning from A1 to I-1 for the unincorporated property located at 24405 South LaGrange Road. So the motion before us tonight, Mr. Mayor, is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation and adopt a resolution directing the filing of a written objection to rezoning within 1.5 miles of the corporate limits of the Village of Frankfort for the proposed map amendment from A1 to I1 for the unincorporated property located at 24405 South LaGrange Road, Frankfort, Will County, Illinois.
And I'll take that as a motion from you, John.
That would be fine.
Okay?
Second?
And we have a second from Trustee Petro. Any discussion?
I think this was a good move on the Plan Commission's part to uphold our comprehensive plan, the zoning that we're looking at in that area. And the fact of the matter is, we don't know what can possibly come into this area if we did go ahead to support it. So I think this was the best bet for Frankfort in ensuring the quality of life on Route 45 that we're looking at now and in the future.
Good comment. Anyone else?
Also,
Keith?
Mayor, very much to that same point, I think it's important for us to protect our borders, and this doesn't prevent them from doing this, but it does require the county board to have a higher vote in order to approve it. And I know that this is also what we had approached the county board about doing as far as with the cannabis, that we wanted to protect our residents had opted out, and we had asked them to honor that too. So it doesn't mean that the county board will not allow this to go by, but I think this is appropriate for us to make sure that our plans are being followed and that we're standing up for them.
Good comments. Very well. Then let's go to our village administrator, Rob Pisha, for the vote.
Trustee Borelli.
Yes.
Trustee Clavio.
Yes.
Trustee Farina.
Yes.
Trustee Ogle.
Yes.
Trustee Petro.
Yes.
Trustee Savaria.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And
Mayor Holland.
yes. Now we can move on to the mayor's report. And what happens when there's a vacancy, the mayor appoints, with the advice and consent, a person to take that position for the remainder of the term. And we now have a vacancy in the clerk's position. So we will go through a very similar process, essentially the same process as we did with the trustee position. There will be applications available at the Village Hall tomorrow or on the internet at villageoffrankfort.com. They should be very easy to find. Any resident of Frankfort probably has to be a registered voter, right, George, to be an elected official? So any registered voter who is also a resident of Frankfort, probably who hasn't committed a felony, can apply. So really, those are the qualifications. But what I will look for, and I'm sure what our trustees will look for, is somebody who's been engaged in our community, somebody who knows about our community, somebody who has perhaps volunteered different ways. Those things are important, and lots of people out there would, I'm sure, make a good clerk, but and don't shy away from applying. We'd be delighted to have you apply. So the applications will be open till February 3rd. The application should be into Teresa Cork at the Village Administration Building by February 3rd. And we have, I have 60 days to appoint a person. And this term would also expire after the consolidated election in 2021. That's in April of 2021. Winter on the Green 2020. Winter on the Green events are coming up. January 26th is winter sports. And then the Valentine's weekend, February 9th, chili cook-off on the 16th. And we moved the winter carnival that the Park District sponsors to February 23rd because it was cold last Sunday. And so we decided to move it. And that, I think, will be a good decision. Come on out for Winter on the Green events. And the 2020 calendar of events is now available on the village website, again at villageoffrankfort.com. It shows when all of these different events take place, including everything from Fall Fest to Winter on the Green to Memorial Day to the art fair on the Green, and of course concerts on the Green, the country market, and the 5K run. I could go on for quite a while. We have a lot of events in this town, and people enjoy them. So they're there for you, and we hope you do enjoy them. And that concludes the mayor's report, and we'll go to our police chief, John Barica, for the police department report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Of course, I'd like to congratulate Trustee Savaria. Look forward to continuing working with you, and I think a great addition to the board. So congratulations there. Also want to say the police department, we are accepting Citizens Police Academy applications. The Citizens Police Academy will start on March 5th. It meets every Thursday for, I believe it's 10 weeks, at the Sheriff's Office on Laraway from 7 to 9:30 on those Thursday nights. It's a great way to learn about how the police work and get some hands-on experience. They do get to do some traffic stops and learn about tasers and evidence and things like that. So great way for residents to find out more about the police department, or of course any trustees are always invited to attend any one of the classes they'd like to. And then finally, of course, I'd like to remind everybody to lock your cars, take your keys inside, and key fobs, put your garage doors down at night. We have found with the ongoing issues with the car thefts and break-ins that these cars have all been open and keys have been left inside them if they're stolen. So great way to prevent it is to not leave that opportunity there for them. That's all I have.
John, we appreciate you continuing to remind the people. I do when I have opportunities too. It's important. If we lock our cars, people will go elsewhere. I wish they would just stop the activity, but so far they have not been bothering cars that are locked, and they have generally not taken anything of significance or done damage to the cars if you don't leave the keys in it. So let's not do that in Frankfort. Let's lock the cars and let's take the keys out of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now for the village administrator's report, we go to Village Administrator Rob Pisha.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also want to congratulate Trustee Savaria. Looking forward to working with you on the board. Enjoyed sitting next to you and working with you as a clerk, but I'm certainly looking forward to working with you as a trustee. I know you'll do a great job. Just want to remind everyone, it's been kind of a weird winter season for us. We haven't had a lot of snowfalls, and this past event was really unique from the standpoint that we had snow, then rain, then slush. But ultimately, what I would ask is just to remind people that anytime we have 2 inches of snowfall, that you would not park your cars on the street. It makes it a lot easier for our snow removal if there aren't cars on the street. The prohibition really is from 8 to 8, but I would ask that if you could help us out when you see that there is an event that's happening, and please put your car on the driveway, or if you can't, keep it off the street so it can help us with snow removal. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Rob. And now for the village attorney's report, we go to our village attorneys, George Mahoney and Hannah Lamore.
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. And that brings us to the part of our meeting we call Other Business, and this evening we'll start with Trustee Clavio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just 2 things for me tonight. One, Gene, welcome aboard, up here, I should say, or back up here. Kind of went up here, down there, back here. So welcome. Look forward to working with you. And the other thing is just, as former chief administrator said, this wasn't a big snowfall, but it was a difficult one because it was snow, ice, rain, ice, snow. So attaboy to Public Works and Terry for the snow plowing job and keeping the streets safe and clean. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. Trustee Petro.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, congratulations and welcome to Trustee Savaria. Jean, we spent a lot of time together on the Plan Commission, and I'm happy to be your neighbor again up here on the village board. So sorry, you have to lose him over there, but we'll take him up here. Also, I just want to say thank you to all that applied for the village board trustee position. I know I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know each of the applicants, and I just am reminded every day what great talent we have here in Frankfort and how people are wanting to get involved. And with that, I would also say to inquire. We have our incumbent here who can tell you all about the clerk position, and apply if you are interested. We are always looking for people to get involved, and I think that other people will be even more involved in maybe even committees or different activities within the village just throughout the process of getting to meet some of the village board. Also, tonight I just wanted to again comment the comprehensive plan. I think we've all said, hey, there's a lot of work, and I'm really excited again, I guess, to have my official copy here today that I'm going to put up on my shelf. But I think what I'm more proud of is that it's not just going to be a book that sits up on a shelf. I've always said the comprehensive plan should be our compass, and it was cited so many times today. as another tool that's helping our plan commission. It's helping the builders, it's helping the board make decisions. And so I'm just really proud of the way that the Village of Frankfort has come together with this plan and how we're utilizing it. That's all.
Thank you, Jessica. Trustee Savaria.
I just want to thank the board and you, Mayor, for trusting me in this position. Hopefully, I live up to your standards. I also want to say that the village clerk position is a great position. Hopefully, we have the turnout that we had for the trustee position, and that, you know, we have a lot of people apply. It is good to give back to the community. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Jean. Trustee Farina.
Thanks, Mayor Holland. I too want to congratulate and welcome Trustee Savaria. It's nice to have the voting block back. We had an opportunity to work together in the Plan Commission as well as Trustee Petro, so familiar faces but good people who are working for the people of Frankfort. And with that, I want to acknowledge Trustee Petro's acknowledgement of our comprehensive plan. Everyone in this room has worked hard on it. We had a lot of feedback from the residents. It's a great document that will help us with the future and goal setting and such, so I'm very excited about that and look forward to working with everyone on that. A couple other things. I just wanted to share with residents that the Frankfort Arts Association has an exhibit going on right now. It's Journey into Pastels. I had an opportunity to attend it along with my family on its opening day. Beautiful work by Frankfort artists. It runs at the gallery now through January 22nd. And if you're wondering where is this art gallery in Frankfort, it is actually on Kansas Street, right across from the trolley barn in the bowling alley building. So it's at 21 Ash Street, Suite 7. Check it out. It's free Thursday through Sunday evenings. It's open in afternoons. Also, Tiger University is coming up at District 157C. Author Amy Logan will present Got Your Cape, the Kindness Project. And it's about the importance of kindness to one another, which goes into our Kindness Days in February. It will be held January 28th at 12:30 in the district office located at Grand Prairie, and then at 6 p.m. at Hickory Creek. It's free to all Frankfort residents and 157C families. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Margaret. Trustee Ogle.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, congratulations, Jean. It's great to have you on board here. You did a great job on the Plan Commission and certainly as clerk and on all the committees that you've attended and you've engaged in. And even though you didn't get a vote as the clerk and on the committees, you voiced your opinion and you were knowledgeable, and I think you're going to be a great trustee and an asset here to Frankfort. The chief had made mention of the Citizens Police Academy. I would encourage all of our residents to sign up for this. It fills up pretty quick. A lot of other communities do it. I went through it and also attended some of the other specific activities. It's fascinating and enlightening of what the police go through. This time I think I'd missed the morgue tour, which I think this time I'd like to go through that one and check that one out. But all the other ones, the traffic stops, the simulated traffic stops, it's great to see what's involved in the other process when you're on the other side of the flashing red lights instead of being pulled over. So please do sign up. I think that information's on our website and also on the police site. A couple other things that have happened too, and I don't know whether everyone necessarily sees them. We've been talking about the casino in Matson for quite a while, and whether there's a resolution from the board or we've all been actively pursuing, again, protecting the integrity of our community and the mayor has issued a letter. It's basically, I think it's on our website as well for the Village of Frankfort. There's a potential change of location, and it's a letter in support of them changing that location to the Lincoln Mall site instead of to Harlem Avenue and Route 30. So our residents have been asking about this. We have been working on this and trying to make sure that we have effective, and also that it's something that's appropriate and considerate of our neighbors as well as our own residents. A couple things also just to keep on the radar for our residents too is one is the North Point development, which is out actually tonight. There's meetings in the Village of Manhattan and the Village of Joliet, the City of Joliet. North Point is making a move for some annexation, which could push that project forward. That's a tremendous amount of truck traffic that would move forward. Again, it's just something that, even though we're slightly out of the pattern for this, it does affect us. Route 30 and Laraway Road, you've probably noticed there's a lot more truck traffic there. The county has just passed an additional gas tax on top of what the state passed, and that may push the 4-lane completion of Laraway Road instead of out where it was at in the year 2025. It may push that much quicker, and if North Point develops, that could be a lot of truck traffic going between that location and I-57. So it's just something for our residents to kind of be paying attention to. When it came up a year or so ago, it was kind of off everybody's radar. But just so people are aware of it and start looking into what's going on with that. Mayor, that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Keith. Trustee Borelli.
Morgue tour, I was on the fence about the Citizens Police Academy, but now I'm in. The morgue tour put me over the top. So, no, that's a fantastic thing. I hope people apply. Everyone that's gone through it, it's just speaks volumes about how great it is. So, welcome, Gene. Great to have you. You've been a fantastic asset to the Plan Commission here as clerk, and I'm sure you'll be service great up here. So.
I wanted to change the dress code before I stepped down, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, you had you missed that opportunity. I wish you would have. And again, I echo some of the other comments about the clerk. It's a fantastic position, great way to get involved with the community, and I hope people apply. I hope we have the same turnout we did for the trustee. So, thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Adam. And that brings us to the part of our meeting we call public comments. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment to the village board tonight? Not hearing any, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned.